The 2001 terrorist attacks in the US, the so-called 9/11 attacks, triggered an avalanche of new government-driven supply chain security regulations, programs and standards, both from cross-border trade perspective as well as from transport modality perspective. The overall objective of such initiatives is to reduce the risk of terrorism and crime in global supply chains, with minimum interventions and disruptions in legitimate supply chains. Let's take a closer look on the highly relevant initiatives, starting first with international customs, maritime, and air regulations and programs. Customs First. Published in 2005, the SAFE Framework of Standards of the World Customs Organization, WCO, is perhaps the most important single supply chain security initiative introduced since 2001. Intended for customs administrations worldwide, the SAFE package offers a suite of best practices for maintaining adequate regulatory control over cargo flows while ensuring smooth cross-border commerce. By 2015, around 170 WCO member administrations have indicated their intention to implement the standards. The SAFE framework builds on three pillars of collaboration: customs-to-customs collaboration, customs-to-business partnerships, and customs-to-other government agency collaboration. First, the customs-to-customs pillar seeks to harmonize rules for exchanging advanced electronic cargo information between traders and customs, use of customs risk management, and inspection of high-security risk traffic in the country of origin when requested by the customs in the country of destination. Second, the Customs Business Partnership pillar rests largely on the Voluntary Authorized Economic Operator (AEO) programs, in which customs grants simplifications to custom formalities and security requirements for companies that have comprehensive security measures in place, a good track record of compliance, and are financially solvent, and have a rigorous management process. And third, customs to other government agency collaboration has the overall objective to ensure that government responses to supply chain security challenges are efficient and effective by avoiding the duplication of requirements and inspections, by streamlining processes, and by setting global standards for the seamless and secure movement of goods. Maritime Second. In December 2002, the International Maritime Organization, IMO, a specialized body of the United Nations, decided to create new minimum security requirements for protecting maritime supply chains against the threat of terrorism. The decision resulted in a fast development and adoption of the International Ship and Facility Security Code, the ISPS code, that comprise mandatory security requirements and complementary guidance for implementation. The code aims, among other things, to establish an international framework for cooperation between contracting governments, government agencies, local administrations, and the shipping and port industries to detect security threats and take preventative measures against security incidents affecting ships or port facilities used in international trade. Specific security requirements include the implementation of a ship security plan and a port facility security plan, the appointment of a ship security officer, company security officer, and port facility security officer, and the installation of ship alarms as well as automatic identification systems. The ISPS code entered into force on the 1st of July 2004 as part of the International Convention of the Safety of Life at Seas, or the SOLAS Convention. The inclusion of the ISPS code into the SOLAS Convention, an international treaty binding 159 signatory countries, facilitated global adoption of the new maritime security measures. And Aviation Third. In the air transport domain, the International Civil Aviation Organization, ICAO, another specialized UN body, has been regulating the international civil aviation security since 1974, when it adopted the first edition of the Annex 17 to the so-called Chicago Convention on International Civil Aviation. The Annex 17 still defines standards and recommendations for safeguarding international civil aviation against acts of unauthorized interference. in 191 signatory countries of the Chicago Convention. Right after the 9/11 disaster, the main focus of the civil aviation security has been evidently more on passenger security than on cargo security. Recall air marshal programs, intensified passenger screening, and hardened cockpit doors. The air cargo mail security finally attracted wider interest in late 2010 when two explosive devices were discovered aboard aircrafts on two separate routings, known as the Yemen bomb plot. Soon after the discovery, a new edition of the Annex 17 introduced advanced security concepts such as secure supply chain principle and the so-called Consignment Security Declaration. This concludes part 1 of the CBRA animation on post-2001 supply chain security regulations and programs. We look forward to meeting you again on the part 2 animation, which focuses, without any surprise, on national supply chain security regulations and programs, many of them based on these 3 global key initiatives on customs, maritime, and air transport.